You fucker. Are we live right now? There we go.
We're live. We're live.
All right. Welcome, everybody. This is the Reality
Yo.
Czars podcast. And I'm your host here, Nate, and my co-host, Tony.
Hello.
And we have two awesome guests. We have Elemental, and we got Sally Mayweather.
What's up?
Elemental, you want to give your plugs, buddy? Tell people who you are and where they can find you.
Yeah, my name's Elemental. I'm a truth hop, conscious hip hop MC from out of Portland, Oregon. I just released a new album, kind of. It's called Power of Truth. I had a little bit of copyright issues. I'm working on clearing a 1 second audio sample for my new release. I do have the physical copies. I'm starting to give out to friends and stuff, but it should be on all major platforms here within the next several weeks, like iTunes, Spotify, and all that. Yeah.
I'm going to pick up a couple from you, and we'll talk about it later because your fucking album is really unique and pretty cool. I'm going to pick up a few from you, and we're going to give a giveaway to some of the audience later.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah. Hell yeah.
All right.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
And Sal, tell everybody who you are. Everybody knows who the fuck you are, but tell us where they can find you and what you're up to.
Sal Mayweather at Sally Mayweather, Sal Ugorist on your social media apps. I'm up to all kinds of shit. I got a million projects going on at any given time, all designed to bring about the death of politicians, figuratively, of course. Don't come raid my house. But yeah, that's it. I'm just, keep on pushing on. I got a million projects. My main two projects are, of course, agorathreads.com and 3dprintergoburr.com, where you can, of course, pay with cryptocurrency to avoid having to access KYC payment platforms. It's really the only way in the world I can think of that you could theoretically acquire a gun without having to go through a KYC payment process. So that's 3dprintergoburr.com. But yeah.
Fucking A. All right. So we brought you guys on here because me and Tony are a couple of fucking knuckleheads. And personally, I haven't heard. So that's what I think we were going to say. I'm just going to give you the black pill, like what the bad things that I've heard about NFTs. And then you guys are going to fucking school me and tell me what's really up. So I don't really know too much about NFTs besides that it's like a digital image, right? That's put up there. And supposedly you sell it and you buy it and it's a thing. And so again, I'm retarded, but it's also has something to do with the metaverse, and the metaverse is scary because like they're going to try to suck us all into the fucking matrix. And this is going to be kind of like, what was that fucking TV show on Netflix? You know what I'm talking about? Black Mirror. This is all going to turn into a Black Mirror episode. We're all going to be zombies. We're all going to die. All right. Now tell me what's really up. Who wants to jump in first?
So that's not what an NFT is, right? So an NFT, so you have tokens, right? And what a token is just a digital representation of ownership that exists on some blockchain ledger. The images that you mentioned are just one sort of like infantile manifestation of that. It's just one application of a non-fungible token.
No shit.
I should back up. So a token is a digital representation of ownership on the blockchain. A non-fungible token is one that's unique among its set. So it's one that's like it's different somehow than the other tokens in its set. So that's why it's one good application is of course like art and stuff like that, but it doesn't have to be that. It could be anything. Like it could be like you guys ever like go to like a Super Bowl party and you have like 100 boxes and you have to you play the Super Bowl pool and you want to get like the final score. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you could do that, but with NFTs, and you could have one token representing each box, and you can do it in a sort of decentralized fashion. And there's a million other applications, and I'm sure we'll get into it later. But like just how it parlays into the metaverse is just that everything in the metaverse is an NFT, right? The land that you buy, the clothes that your avatar wears, those are all NFTs. So that's why it's such an integral part of the metaverse.
Interesting. So I was hanging out with Elemental, and he was showing me a little bit of stuff online, and this is why I invited him on the show, because like he like walked me through like a digital house, and then he was showing me pictures on the wall, and all of those pictures were fucking for sale, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
Sotheby's.
Oh man. So the whole NFT thing, let me start with this. I'll get to that in a second, but it's literally limitless, the customization options that you can pursue when you create an NFT. And it really just like a lot of it sometimes depends on the platform, the upload size limits for some things that you might try to do. Like I'm trying to release a 4K music video NFT, right? But the average like size restriction for uploads for NFT minting is about 100 megabytes. So my video is like just under 250 megabytes. So I'm working with this one platform over on Hive called NFT Tunes that then they said they're going to be able to implement into their code to have a higher upload restriction that I need to actually put those out there. And they're focused on music too, so it'll be cool to be on that platform. As far as the metaverse thing though, oh, hold on. So there's all kinds of other things you can do with NFTs too, like there's these like perma coupons you can create. You can create these things called founders tokens, right? Limited amount of them, say just as an example, 100, right? And there's no more to ever be minted. These are like lifetime tokens that can get you just, let's say 10% off on something for life, or get you like backstage access to shows that if you're an artist or something like that, you know what I mean? Or guarantees you a free NFT airdrop for forever, like once a week or once a month or something. Like, there's just like a few examples like of what it could be. And, a lot of people are pursuing these, like sort of 8-bit pixelated images type things. And has a whole historical thing with NFTs over there on Ethereum, the punks or whatever. And that kind of like translated to Hive a little bit. They ripped off that concept. And I just like, I'm not about that kind of stuff. Like those like weird, like 8-bit Fabergé egg type mentality. I like to see NFTs that actually have function and utility. That's what I think gives them value. That and the rarity. And also you have to factor in the quality of the image or video or whatever. But if you want to go into metaverse though, so the best one that I've seen and what he was referencing a second ago was something called crypto voxels, right? Now, this is a 3D VR world that already exists. It's already accessible. You just go to the website and you're right there as a like guest avatar walking around. And it's just basically a huge virtual VR mall, but it's sort of more on the 8-bit side. It's the graphics aren't really like top notch or anything like that, but it's totally functionable. I mean, people like buy real estate in there and they actually have stores and you can like walk into them. And if you click on the images on the walls, you can make them anything, or they could be videos too. But if you click on them, the thing that pops up that can take you and redirect you to actually purchase that NFT that's on the wall there. So that already exists. That's a thing. But there's a bigger, like way better graphics version, like NFT world coming out. That's going to be, bridging multiple blockchains. It'll be a metaverse style thing, and it's going to involve blockchain gaming as well. It's called Game State, and they're like linking up with DeFi for You over on Binance Smart Chain too. And there's rumors about it interfacing with Hive. They're kind of being hush hush about it. I don't know why, but it seems like they're going that route because they updated their site with a new advertisement now, but the first one that I saw on there was just this like huge arena. It was like sort of like some advanced Pokemon Stadium looking thing. And it was just Splinterlands everywhere. Do any of you guys know about Splinterlands, by the way, since we're talking about NFTs?
No.
Okay, well,
We're
sorry.
normies, man.
So this is like the biggest fucking NFT game in the world, right? This is the big one.
It's the number one blockchain game on the planet. It's built on the Hive blockchain. It was made by this dude named Agrode. That's his handle. I actually met him down at Anarchapulco a few years ago when he was first busting out his like the only physical cards of this game I've ever actually seen. He was giving out his promos down there.
Do you have one?
Yeah, I do actually. God, I wish my camera was working so I could show it to you.
Dude, I bet that thing's worth a minute. I think that thing's fucking worth the money, huh?
Yeah, there was a few left over at our vending stand that he dropped there, and I've been thinking about auctioning a few of them off because but anyway, this game, it's basically a digital card game. I would say that it's kind of taken its place as the sort of online Magic the Gathering play to earn game right now, just because of its popularity and the way it works. But what's really impressive about this game is the synergistic ecosystem that was created and these different assets that all like seem to benefit each other if you like sort of tweak them the right way and put them in the right places. It's sort of like the circular thing that happens. And right now there is a year-long airdrop going on. We're only about 4.5 months in, something like that. and they're dropping every day based on a calculated amount of your Splinterlands assets. So it could be anything like packs of cards, dark energy crystals. That's one of the currencies in the game. And you get, they add that all up and give you a point total. And that calculates how much SPS, this governance token that they're airdropping all year, once a day, called Splinter Shards or SPS. And right now it's actually like dirt cheap. It's super on sale. It's like 12 cents or a piece or something like that. It came out and peaked out at about $1. It wasn't even like a couple months ago. But yeah, that's the play right now for me. I'm just getting, because Chaos Legion, the new set, just came out recently. It's not quite sold out, and every single pack set release that comes out of this, like they all start at $2. This is the first one ever that was $4, so these packs are $4 now. But they used to be $2, and they would sell out in the general sale. And let's just take the last set, Untamed, that came out. I think that one came out, or at least sold out, about 4 months ago now. So it sold out $2 a pack. Then all the packs hit the secondary market, and I sold mine for like $110 a pack. Like, even buying them, I bought mine on the secondary market for 16 a piece because I missed the general sale, and then ended up selling them for 110 a piece like a month and a half later. It's just because the rarity, and there's also this deflationary system of the cards, right? So obviously there's only so many packs of each set, and there's only so many cards in each set, just like a regular card game. And they're not going to like reprint these either. But the thing is that in order to level up the cards, you actually have to merge the cards together. You have to fuse them and burn all the other copies of the same card to level that one card up. So as time goes on, there's less and less of these cards because people are leveling them up, and the ones that are left are more and more powerful, and they're more and more sought after. And I mean, like, some days like that went by, like in the late summer, early fall, there was like 15 to 20,000 new users a day coming onto Splinterlands. Like, it's nuts.
And so
like,
each and every one of those characters, right, is its own unique NFT.
Right, exactly. So every single card is an NFT. And what's really cool about Splinterlands is that every piece of art that you see on the cards is from a Hive design contest that they hold. It's all winners of, like, so it's all like sort of like this decentralized art that comes about.
So it's kind of like baseball cards in a way, where like you just
see, we're both nerds, Tony. You went to baseball cards. I'm thinking Pokemon cards because that's what I grew up with.
Yeah, it's like Pokemon. It has elements of different games. Like, it kind of reminds me a little bit of like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic the Gathering, but it's its own thing too at the same time. You know what I mean? Obviously, I mean, it's a very, very unique game. It's funny because when that game was first coming out, I had a chance to get like what Hive used to be called Steam. We were on Steam back then. Actually, the game used to be called Steam Monsters, and then when we forked to Hive, they changed it to Splinterlands. Just for reference, a little historical note there. But when I first looked at the game, you know, when it was first coming out, it was not nearly as polished as it was now. You know, I was like, you know, we don't even actually get any real cards. You know, like, the art isn't that great yet. The interface isn't that great yet. But you know what, man? That was stupid. A couple of my friends my one friend bugged me like every other day for like 2 years. Even after that, when we both first met him and we're talking about the game, every day he's hit me up online. Hey, you need to get into Steam Monsters. You need to invest in these alpha and beta packs and stuff. Like, it's like, oh, I don't know, man. You know, it's just a game, blah, blah, blah. Because, you know, I've kind of grown up from games and stuff. But honestly, like, I don't even play the Splinterlands game. I play the game outside the game. That's what I like to call it, because it's a game of its own, like messing with the assets, and like you can rent your cards. Like, that's the thing. I get these cards. I never if I get packs, I never open more than like a quarter to a third of all the packs I'm getting, just because you know that the packs themselves are such a safe investment, and you know they're going to go up in value. You know what I mean? Whereas if you open packs, then you're gambling as to whether the pack's going to be worth more than what the pack, like the cards in the pack are worth more than what the pack itself could be worth later. And that's a whole nother debate, right? But it's kind of hard to lose at this game. It's really cool, man. And right now, like, the whole card market's down. SPS is super down. Everything's like a really good point to get in at. So, and the Chaos Legion sale is still happening. There's slightly under like half the packs that have actually sold. There's still another like 6 million packs available. So, and it's only been out for a couple of days.
Well, I'm super fucking, I don't know if I'd ever actually play the game, but I might fucking invest just in the tokens, just some of the shard cash. And I don't know.
Oh, that was
make some fucking money.
So if you don't play with the cards, you can rent the cards too that you do have on Peak Monsters. It's just another front end for Splinterlands and Hive where you can rent your cards and the rentals come in dark energy crystals. You take those dark energy crystals, get you more SPS airdrop points, or you can take those and buy cards or whatever, or you can put it in a liquidity pool with SPS and get more SPS that way. Like there's a whole nother thing with liquidity pools and tribal decks attached to Hive Engine, but that's a whole nother conversation. I'm probably confusing the crap out of the audience, honestly, at this point. But there's like so many different ways that you can just, that's what I'm saying about the whole cyclical synergistic ecosystem of assets. Like it's hard to go wrong. There's just ways that are better than others. It's kind of a guessing game like anything, but it's just really the safest investment ecosystem I've found. And it's a game, you know? I don't know. That's my take on it.
That's fucking neat, man.
Yeah.
So tell me more about the metaverse, Sal. People are buying houses.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, there is
Are you buying some property?
I can't afford it, dude. It's like there's like multi-million-dollar real estate companies that have no physical real estate in their portfolio whatsoever. All they do is own like digital real estate.
So tell me how this isn't a giant fucking scam, because this sounds like the best fucking scam in the world.
Well,
I love
people
this.
are like, the one thing you always hear is like, well, how come I can't screenshot your NFT, right? Like, how come I just like can't, if it's just a JPEG, I'll just screenshot it. And now you see people on Twitter, like, because now Twitter will let you use an NFT as your profile picture. So people are like screenshotting like these really expensive apes, these bored apes, and they're putting.
Is that what the fuck that ape thing was about?
Yeah. So that's like the Bored Ape Yacht Club. But
okay, I'm retarded and I missed that whole thing, and everybody was showing this ape, and I
they're
didn't
selling
get it.
for like $400,000 for like one ape, and so like the joke is like people are like, well, I'll just screenshot it, but like that's kind of ridiculous if you think about it, because like if you have like a Babe Ruth rookie card and I just take a picture of it with my phone, I don't have a Babe Ruth rookie card, I just have a picture of a Babe Ruth rookie card, so it's sort of ridiculous. Yeah. It's just people don't really understand what they're talking about when they say shit like that. But like, so this was like this was like one of the first NFTs ever. This is actually the old Pepe flag.
Hell yeah.
From back in the day of the meme wars right there. This was actually created by one of the Dogecoin founders. It was given to me by Raphael from the Crypto Vigilante. So it's actually one of the first NFTs ever. This is a physical version of it, obviously. But I break it out for like events like this because it is pretty cool.
Dude, that's fucking sick.
But you know what's cool about the metaverse? One thing I wanted to mention, because you guys were talking about like art and shit like that. If you go inside the Decentraland metaverse, you guys have heard of the luxury art firm Sotheby's? You know what I'm talking about? Like this major like art house, like real fancy kind of shit.
You're talking to trash here, Sal. I'm
okay. Well, like what's cool about it is like in the Decentraland metaverse, they actually bought like a gallery. They actually had like a metaverse architect come in, make a fucking house, like a art gallery, and you can virtually walk into Sotheby's gallery in the metaverse. You can pick out a painting on the wall, buy it with over the metaverse, using crypto, and then that will translate into like a real life purchase. They will send you the actual physical piece of art through the mail.
That's really fucking cool.
In the metaverse.
I didn't know anything. I didn't know that an NFT could be a physical thing.
Yeah, you can totally attach physical items to NFTs. And one thing that my homie Illuminati Congo did was he actually made a physical NFT coin. And that was one of the things, like if people present that at his shows and stuff, you get like special promo and access at all the shows.
That's sick.
Yeah, Mark Cuban from the Mavericks, actually, what you could do is you could take your ticket and like, I don't know if there's a code or something like that, but there's a way to access, if you like, you can get an NFT from that ticket somehow. And people are actually taking those NFTs and selling them on the secondary market for more than the cost of the ticket actually was. So they're getting their money back, and they have this like really like sort of neat, like memorable collectible that they sort of want. But I actually agree with Elemental when I think that like they really the best use case for an NFT is something that has to have utility. It has to have like a compelling use case. Like again, like I mean, there's all sorts of different ways we can like use NFTs, and as an agorist, I'm like really excited about just all different sorts of use cases, like especially like DAOs and things like that. But like, it is important to point out that NFTs are just like one little small aspect of this whole ecosystem of tokens, right? We have tokenization of everything right now, and NFTs are sort of like, to me, like the whole digital like art thing is really just a proof of concept, right? So like smart contracts put governance on chain, and NFTs are putting the item being governed on chain. So it's really just sort of like the evolution of crypto. It's like sort of like the next step of where we're headed.
That's cool, man. Because I mean, all you're gonna hear in like the normie fucking, and I'm not a normie, but like if you're hearing about NFTs and you're not in it, then you're only gonna hear the shit normies do. And like I heard about like the little girl with the house on fire behind her. Like she's like an adult now. You know that fucking meme?
Yes.
She sold that photo as an NFT and things like that. And I think she made like a few $100,000.
I got into this because people were taking my memes. Like I'm at this point, I'm only like about 10 to 20% of them are actually original that I'm actually making anymore. But like someone took one of my original memes, tokenized it on Solana, and sold it for like $2,000. So I'm like, what am I doing wrong here? I better learn about this NFT shit. So now,
buddy, tokenize that nice gay pride shirt with the Mises on it. Sell that shit immediately, man.
Yes, I like that. That's a good idea.
As soon as we're done here, because somebody's gonna rip it off.
Yes. I actually sold an NFT yesterday on Solana. So it's like one of the questions you get a lot is like, well, how do I do this, right? How do I create an NFT? And like, there's all different ways to do it, but I think some of the key things to remember are, if you're going to use like a congested blockchain, you're going to be paying transaction fees out the ass. So like, yeah, exactly. If you like, those gas fees are just like oppressive. It's unreal. So that's why I sort of use Solana, because it's so fucking easy, and like a lot of people are like, proof of history sucks, and yeah, it probably does, but you know what? It works, and it's really easy right now. So that's what I've been using.
I'm writing this shit down because I need to be taking notes.
And if anybody wants to like check it out, it's solc.io is the marketplace, and you can do everything from there. You can mint NFTs, you can buy, sell, trade.
That's like the Solana OpenSea, basically.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So I think what everyone's wondering though is like, because there's so many different places you can mint NFTs. There's so many different blockchains you can mint NFTs, and everyone was thinking about metaverse in the future and thinking, well, what NFT platforms are going to be the ones that are in whichever big version of the metaverse becomes popular, you know, because you want to be in that, right? Like, because that's where all the traffic's going to be eventually. It's such a hard thing to determine right now, you know. And like I said, I see things like Game State come up, and I mean that's huge. Like if you go to their website, they're always doing updates. They're getting it, you know. They're going to be ready to launch in about a year from now. But then I hear about all these other things that I'm not really that familiar with that are more mainstream, like some of the stuff that you were mentioning, Sal. So I don't really know. Like, you know, I'm over on Hive currently. Now Hive has its own like little tiny issues that they need to fix. There might be another fork coming. I don't know. But with that in mind, they got really good NFT platforms. I mean, NFT Showroom is super polished. There's a lot of really, really talented people on there. And then, you know, people are coming out with the music side of things now, like NFT Tunes was one. And then I forget what the name of it is, but my buddy down in Eugene that's on Hive, the Logical Dude, is coming out with another one where you can actually publish works in a way on the blockchain that gives you a unique stamp with your NFT music that makes it so it's slightly better than like a common law copyright instead of going through the traditional copyright means, which is a whole nother thing. But yeah, man, there's just so many platforms to pick from. But the thing is a lot of people are using OpenSea, but like he said, the gas fees are nuts. Like, and so people aren't like, a lot of people are steering away from that. And they're always talking about partnering with, I think it's called Immutable X or something like that to solve it. I don't know if it's actually going to happen or not. You know,
Vitalik has been like just pulling shit out of his ass for like, I don't know, what, 6 years now, 5 years. But like, he's been talking about scaling solutions forever, and it hasn't happened. But for better or worse, most tokenization is still occurring on Ethereum. I don't do it because I don't want to pay those fees. It's just nuts to me. So I don't do it. But most like big NFT artists, the ones who are making like big money, it's still on Ethereum. Like depending on what your token project is, will determine what blockchain you should be using. So like if you're going to tokenize securities and assets, which is super rigorous, it's also super illegal. So I didn't tell you to do it. But if you do it, you're going to want to use like Raven Coin. Like it's literally designed for that purpose. For most other things, Ethereum just works, but like the gas fees are just nuts. And like there's so they have like ETH killers now is what they're calling them. So you have like Cardano and Solana, and like I don't know, now you have like Pulse Chain coming out, and there's all these different like chains that are trying to compete with Ethereum to try to like dethrone Ethereum, that are basically doing the same thing that Ethereum is doing, but they're just like tweaking it just a little tiny bit. So who knows what's going to like pay off and what's going to work and what's not. But right now, most people are still using ETH.
If I had to guess, I think something like GameState's just going to come out of left field one day when it releases, and it's not going to be anything like any of those platforms. It's really going to exist in the VR world, That's where it's going to end up being, which is weird to me because I'm not really like a VR type person, but I mean, it's kind of cool. I'm not going to lie, actually after looking into a couple of things. So that's my prediction, but it's really hard to see because there's just so much movement and static happening in this realm right now. It's crazy.
The other thing too is like if you are trying to like you want in on this, you want to like make some money like with art and stuff like that, it really helps if you are part of like a dedicated crypto community. So like for example, I have a buddy who does like he tokenizes art, but he does it on the Wax blockchain. And because Wax is like such a close, tight-knit community, he does really well. Right, because like everybody's trying to pump him up, like, hey, we have this like famous like NFT artist on our chain, and like they're all trying to like blow it up. So like that really helps. Like if you're like active in like I don't know, like some like obscure crypto community, you probably have a decent chance of making a buck. But of course, it depends on if you can tokenize and the extent of the tokenization platform.
Yeah, that's kind of how Hive is, honestly. A couple of my friends call it like a closed off garden. But it was getting real popular there for a minute, but then some discrepancies happened. There's a bit of an issue with downvoting that's being discussed on how to appropriately manage downvoting and stuff right now. But other than that, like outside of that, the abuse of downvotes and the centralization of some of the stake by a few accounts, God, is it a good platform? It's literally the best like social media blogging platform I've ever experienced in my life. Otherwise, but seeing some of my friends getting attacked and stuff isn't good. Because that that's just like inherently a flaw inherent in the design. So that's something we either need to change or fork away from. I'm not exactly sure what the solution is yet, though. I don't mean to.
Do you
get
think they're just trolls, or do you think they're fucking feds trying to fuck things up?
I mean, they're agents of the government, whether either by being paid to do it or by volunteering to do it and not realizing that's what they're doing. Like one way or the other, that's how it is. Yeah. So I don't know. It is what it is. I'm trying to, I honestly really like Hive. I hope that we can come to a resolution. They're actually talking about getting rid of layer 1 voting, which is like the whole basis of what Hive blogging is. But there's this whole layer 2 now where there's all these tokens, right? And all these different token projects in specific topic related communities. And those are worth money too. And right now we're getting the level 1 and the level 2 rewards on our posts. So if we took away the level 1 entirely, then there couldn't be downvoting anymore, because downvoting doesn't really exist on level 2 with the tokens. I don't know if it's the right solution or not, to be honest. It's just like the one thing that came up that seems to be getting some traction from both sides of the fence, because I don't know, it's hard to come to a resolution when one side with all the power just constantly wants to disagree.
Is this kind of like YouTube taking away the thumbs down, or
sort of? But it's hard to compare something like this to YouTube, though. Honestly, it's about really what it's about is like Hive is being advertised as like one of these Web 3.0 services, and like if we're gonna do that and call it a decentralized and uncensored platform, then you can't be downvoting accounts to oblivion because you don't agree with the topic content and kicking it off all the trending pages on all the different front ends that it's on, because that essentially is censorship, right? And you're also taking away the power of the monetization of that too by getting rid of the rewards. So
I don't think you can get rid of shitheads online. I think that's
no, but what you have to do is design a system that makes sure they stay out, and we almost have it. It's so close. It's very close to perfect. It's just like a matter of it. The biggest thing is like there's always going to be an issue if you tie power to money or stake to money. So there needs to be like this duality of where you have to earn your reputation and you can't buy it or sell it. You know what I mean? And then like there's a secondary coin, like the 50% reward that comes in that's worth money, but you can't use that to like level up your account. It's just like a buy sell thing only. So I don't know. That's kind of another thing that's being discussed also. There's different solutions we could pursue. I'm not really sure what's going to happen yet. It's an interesting point in history though, for sure. This is a really exciting thing and just all this blockchain stuff, NFTs, just to be and live and exist in this time right now it's really got my brain working. You know what I mean? I feel alive. And I mean, honestly, like I just had to get out of a 9-year relationship with my partner. And that was like one of the hardest things ever. But all this positivity going on all around me is allowing me to keep my focus on these positive things. And if that's happening to me, it's got to be happening to other people. So I'm just like grateful to be healthy and alive right now in this time. That's all I got to say about it.
Yeah. I'm curious about the non-meta versions of NFTs. Like you're selling music through NFTs. I heard people selling books. How does that work? Because
that kind of is that it's about having a unique stamp on the blockchain. Now you could have like you can have a physical item be an NFT itself, and it can even have a tail of crypto with it on a wallet somewhere, or you can have an actual asset that's attached to an NFT, and when the NFT is traded, the physical asset is also mailed or whatever. So it's I don't know.
Essentially, you could like you just attach ownership of like a digital good on the you just basically tagging ownership on the blockchain, and boom, it's an NFT.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but someone steals your little Pepe flag.
See, that's what I was going to ask.
Well, this is physical. So this is actually this is just a physical embodiment of the first NFT ever created. So the first NFT ever created was actually the Pepe flag, which is this, and this is like one of the founders of Dogecoin created this to celebrate the moment in history, and I wound up in my hands. But so yeah, I mean, you could tokenize anything though, like literally anything. You could tokenize this podcast, and you could sell like you could tokenize your business. You could tokenize anything.
That's what I was going to ask. So how does someone? I guess establish ownership? Let's say I want to take the photo, and it's probably already sold. There's probably already an idea, but let's say I take like the photo of like Marilyn Monroe over the fucking grill, you know what I'm talking about, the sewer, and she's going like this and her dress is blowing up. Could I take that photo, NFT it, and sell it? Like how does someone who owns that photo?
Your photo?
Yeah, it
your photo.
It has to be your original content. But getting to the question of how is it tied to you specifically, a lot of platforms, the legit ones, when you're going to be an NFT artist on that platform, you have to be whitelisted.
Verified.
Yeah, verified or white. It's called being whitelisted, and a lot of that is KYC. And if you don't know what that is, that means know your customer, and that's essentially like a identity verification process. Now, that is actually a lot of people don't like that kind of stuff. Now, fortunately, if you're like me, like on Hive, I have a lot of friends that know me and my account, so I was allowed to whitelist through my artist name and my account name because I'm so well known. But a lot of times you can't get away with that. You actually have to like send picture your photo ID and all that stuff. I'm just not really about it. So that's another thing. Like it could go either way with that. It depends on the person. A lot of people don't like that process.
Yeah, I won't get verified on Solcy. I absolutely refuse. Yeah. The one thing we haven't really spoke about yet is like the fractionalization of tokens, which I think is like huge also. So like you could take a car, let's say you have a car that's worth $10,000. Well, you could actually create 4 tokens that are let's say they're worth $2,500 each, and each token represents a 25% ownership stake in that particular car. Now you could do like some sort of like Uber thing on like with smart contracts using the blockchain, so that like you guys just get paid out, right? You don't even have to like, you don't do anything with the car. It's just everything runs on a smart contract, and all you do is receive payment for you renting the car out. And like it can, like I said, it can all be done on smart contracts and shit like that. So it's like really, and of course there's like a lot of regulatory hurdles right now, and like the government doesn't really know how to respond and stuff like that. But that's another story.
Nancy Pelosi, like I'm having a hard time understanding this. And I'm thinking about like those old fucking boomers in Congress.
I have a friend of mine. A friend of mine does like the legal aspect of all this shit, and they were like, "Yeah, like the government is like severely wrestling with these concepts. Like they have whole teams dedicated to trying to understand this shit because they just don't. They just don't.
You could try to explain.
Haven't even
you could get
wrapped their
paid by
hands around
explaining this
crypto.
shit to them.
Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah, but
I
he
wouldn't.
won't. See, that's the thing.
I wouldn't. I'd rather die.
That's why the governments don't have the best programmers, and you know what I mean, and
Exactly.
because they will never work for them.
I want to make an NFT of Nancy Pelosi's eyebrows. They just keep getting bigger. Like,
dude, the government doesn't even have their heads wrapped around crypto yet, or even Bitcoin yet. You know, it's like,
yeah, literally.
So I was thinking this of like just NFT and political speeches, or just like sound bites from when politicians are just going to have to backtrack a week later. And I don't know whether this is.
It's got to be OC though. It's got to be original content.
Yeah.
Okay.
It has to be your content.
Okay.
So if you put some sound effects in the background or something, like how does this?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, if you get it
you
original
can
somehow.
You can include audio. Yes, I actually did that with my. There's the NFT that comes with my album. You can only get through the physical copies. The first 500 copies it has audio, and it's an MP4 video of my like logo spinning really high resolution. I got a animator I met through Hive that lives off the coast of Australia to help me create it. It's fucking awesome.
Very
cool. Man. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's my first NFT. I own an NFT now.
Oh yeah, so you got to just follow the instructions to retrieve it, and I'll send it right over to you once you have the account ready.
And like that's another. I don't know how you created those NFTs, but like one way that like friends of mine will do it is it's more professional. It's more like the high end NFT artists. What they'll do is they'll use like generative art. So like they'll create one particular piece of art that looks really nice that they're happy with. And then they use an algorithm to like adjust just a few aspects of it. And then they'll create like a whole set, like let's say like 100 different versions of that picture. They're all a little bit different like than one another. So like I think like some of the apes were created this way. And you can have like, and you can just sell like you have 100, 100. Like now, like the value goes up because it's more of a collectible.
Well,
you know what I mean?
It's actually funny you mentioned that, because the one that I released is the album promo. There's 500 copies of it, right? And each one goes with the physical album, blah, blah, blah. But that's just like the regular 3D animated version on black background. I also have 2 other versions of that same kind of NFT coming out that's going to be much more rare. There's only going to be like maybe like 25 copies of one and like 10 of the other. They're just like super upgraded in a 3-dimensional realm, like in space nebulas with like blue smoke going everywhere and shit. Yeah,
Very
so
cool.
like, you know what I mean? And they all are going to have different like instrumentals from different music projects that may or may not be on the album. So that's just one example of something that you were just talking about.
I feel like a fucking boomer listening to this shit.
It's also new. That's the trippy part of all of this. Like the fact that you got digital realty that you can't afford to buy yet.
Right.
Like where's the stage where it's just like, yeah, I could buy like a whole like swath of neighborhoods for like 10 cents.
We missed it. Well, let's put it like this. We missed it in some of the main metaverses, right? It's not affordable in Decentraland. And in the Sandbox metaverse, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but like Snoop Dogg bought a house.
Yes, yeah, I heard about it.
In the Sandbox metaverse. And this guy is like putting on free concerts in the metaverse. Like you can go to his house and he's rocking out. Like Snoop Dogg is like performing for you in the metaverse. So like when he did that, all of the land surrounding Snoop Dogg's house shot up in value.
Yeah,
everybody wanted to be Snoop Dogg's neighbor. So it's like, it's wild.
I remember that one.
Dude, imagine being his next door fucking neighbor. You bought the house first, and then your fucking property's worth couple
Crazy
mil?
money.
I don't know how
Crazy
much money.
Dude, like I don't know, like one of the things. So like one of the ideas that we've tossed around at Agoristics was actually buying like a big plot of land in the Decentraland metaverse, and then what we were going to do is create like a sort of, I don't know, like a stadium or like a Roman Colosseum style stadium. And then what we would do is we would take these people who've been censored from social media, right, left, center, conservative, liberal, libertarian, whatever, and we would invite them to speak in this open forum and then sell tickets. So
That's
you can
sick,
have like
dude. Such
have
a
like
fucking
Milo
good idea.
Yiannopoulos like come in and like say controversial shit, and we can charge like $5 a ticket or something like that.
Yeah.
But like because it's on the blockchain, you can't really censor this shit. So it's a matter of time until people start finding ways to use the metaverse to like fuck the government and like these big tech censors, you know.
That's such a fucking good idea, Sal. I really hope you do that.
But dude, the internet
big
is
money,
revolutionary.
The
internet is the revolutionary space. It always has been. We're just in the stone ages of the internet still, is what people don't realize. Like we really are. We're just getting started.
What does it take to create your own fucking little piece of metaverse? Like, what if you wanted to create your own fucking neighborhood?
You need a lot of money. You have to buy land.
Yes. Well, or you have to create it yourself, and you need to.
Well, that's what I mean. Can you create land
if you're a developer?
What, like, how the fuck do you develop shit?
Here's the thing: the developers right now,
doesn't make sense.
There's like no developers for hire right now. They're all off doing their own projects. The ones that were hired by like these like blockchain gaming companies and metaverse world creation companies, like they're sitting there working for them, looking at the money that they're making off the thing they're creating for them, and saying, "Fuck that! I'm gonna go do this myself." And like, that's what's going on right now. It's like impossible to get development, and if you do get it, it's super expensive. And what people want is shares in it. You know what I'm saying? And that's not what was happening before. People want a part of the things that they're creating. And I talked to my friend about this recently. He was like, "Oh yeah, dude, that's what the big companies back in the day when they were first getting going with their developers did, like IBM and Microsoft and Macintosh and shit. They all included like profit revenue sharing through stocks and stuff to all the developers, man. Like that's how it's done. And that's what they need to convert to keep the developers interested."
So like like back in the day, like way back in the day, like 2014, we had colored coins, which was like it basically these were like the precursors to NFTs. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Tatiana Moroz. She's like a musician who's like also a libertarian.
Yeah.
She's pretty well known in like the crypto anarchist space, but what she was doing way back then, like before anybody was even talking about NFTs, what she was doing was you could like let me make sure I'm probably gonna butcher this, but she'd be playing guitar at some event and she would have a QR code and you could just scan the QR code, buy her album, and it would be like as an NFT. You would buy like the NFT of her album. And this is like way back in the day in like 2014.
Wow.
So like, yeah, so you can like imagine like how far ahead of the curve some of these people were, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember my homies talking about NFTs like back when I first started. I mean, I haven't even been involved in crypto that long. Like 2016 is when I first got into it. I wanted to get into it anyway. But yeah, it's just crazy to hear stories like that because I mean, damn, I was hearing about NFTs when I was first hearing about crypto, but I kind of put it off to the side in my head because I didn't take it seriously back then. And now that it's getting more popular, it's like, damn, I should have paid more attention, I guess.
I didn't hear the word NFT until 2021.
Well, see, they weren't always called NFTs. We used to call them colored coins because they were
really?
The idea was that they were like marked coins. They were colored.
Huh.
So you could spot them like they were like different somehow. And then that sort of became like, we had Counterparty back then for like Bitcoin tokens and shit. And it wasn't really like, it was like, I don't know. It's just incredible. One thing I've learned is that when you have like this new like thing in the crypto space, whether that's like NFT boom or the ICO boom, jump in head fucking first. Like jump in because financially you will not regret it. Like you won't regret it.
Somebody very wise once said to me, there's only two things people will ever regret about crypto: getting out at the wrong time and not investing more when they could have.
Yeah.
It's like the
Yeah.
truest
Yeah.
shit I've ever heard in my life.
True. No, but like, no, like back, so like in 2016, like, so like the idea is that these tokens are not supposed to be immutable, but on Ethereum, it's not really the case. So like back in 2016-ish, I want to say, we had the first ever DAO. So like a DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization. Think like a business firm with no CEO, no board of directors. It's all managed by token holders. So like if you own 5 out of 100 tokens, you own, 5% of the total company, the total DAO, the total organization. So you control 5% of the voting rights. And the first one ever, it was like 2016. We were all super excited. I had made like a killing off of like the first crowd sale off of Ethereum, and like Bitcoin was pumping. Everybody had money back then. So like I just dumped everything into the DAO, and like I'm super excited. And then what happened was I wake up one Saturday and all my DAO tokens, the value of my DAO tokens was like gone. It was just zero. And I'm like, what is going on here? Turns out some dude in Europe, there was a flaw. There was one line in the code for the DAO tokens that was erroneous. It was flawed for whatever reason. And some dude spotted it, and he knew that most of the DAO token holders were likely to be Americans. So he waited until we were all asleep, and he fucking drained the whole DAO. And it was like one of the worst days of my life. Like I probably, in today's money, I probably lost like millions of dollars in Ethereum.
Fuck.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. But as an anarchist, I was immediately faced with the question of, all right, is this a fucking NAP violation? And I had to conclude that no, it wasn't, because
Are you sure?
yeah, because if you think about
I'm gonna go choke him to death.
think about it. I know, dude, I wanted to, but like in crypto, code is law, right?
Yep.
And it was my fault for not doing my own research and auditing the code before I invested so heavily in it. So he was abiding by the law, by the code, and I was the one who was stupid and didn't understand it. So that's not to say if I don't ever see the guy, I'm not going to, willingly violate the non-aggression principle. In a few cases I would, but it just goes to show you, my point in all of this is like the technology is new. Number one, A, it's still new, and B, do your own research.
So we got a couple comments here. We got Phoebe's saying right click, save image as. So
yeah, but Phoebe, Phoebe, like if you had like if you had like a Babe Ruth rookie card and I took a picture of it with my cell phone, I don't have a Babe Ruth rookie card. I just have a picture of a Babe Ruth rookie card. It's the same shit if you right click my NFT.
Umbrado says, hi guys. And then Elemental, I think this is one of your friends. Thistlefy says hot cocoa and gin.
Yeah. That's a Jackalope fam down there, man. What up, homies?
Okay, he says, I met you guys at Jackalope, and we need to look into Epic Cash.
Okay, for sure. Right on.
I've heard of Epic.
Is there a way? Hey, can I like post stuff somewhere in the group chat somehow? Do I have to do that on YouTube?
So we have a group chat. I think.
Is it a private chat on this thing though?
Yeah, there's a private chat right there.
But how do I get to the one
it.
where the audience? I have to do that on YouTube.
So if you look up at the right corner there, I can see it. It says comments. We just got another one. Cosmic Radio, that's my homie. He says, "What's up, guys?"
Shit, I can't type in there though. How can I type in there? Sorry, I don't mean.
I have no idea, dude.
I'm just gonna.
I'm
do it
such a fucking boomer. Yeah, try it.
Right.
All right, man. Well, I'm still feel retarded about this, but I want to make an NFT all day long. I make fucking memes all the time. I'm making original content.
Dude, you have to tokenize that shit then, because the easiest way to do it, I'm telling you can use. There's a million blockchains, and I'm not familiar with like 85% of them because there's so fucking many of them at this point. The one that I found that's really easy to do this on is Solana. So if you or your audience wants to go to soulseed.io and you just click create, it's just like one form. It's like one form you got to fill out, and
Yeah.
boom, you're done. And you can make the NFT and list it in like one shot, like literally under 1 minute is how long it's going to take you.
That's fucking dope.
Really?
Yeah,
It's
send me a
wild.
link. I'm gonna put this in the show notes.
Sorry, you
man.
said that was the Solana one? I missed what you said.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's soulseed.io.
Okay. That's a cool name. I like the URL.
Yeah, it's like a play on OpenSea. They're just sort of like stealing the name recognition.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's what I
Can
figured.
it be anything? Like, can it be explicit? Let's say I took a dick pic and then
Yeah,
threw it
fuck
out on
yeah.
there.
Hell yeah, absolutely. Why not? Dude,
Okay.
we can tokenize dick pics. I didn't even think about that. Revolutionary.
Well, I was thinking about porn stars selling pictures of their buttholes or something. Like,
I can just
there's
see it now. Like,
Not
It
safe for
hasn't
work.
happened
Not safe
yet.
for not safe for work NFT.
yeah, there's got to be like a
C.io.
porn
Oh,
land.
it's probably already happening.
There's got to be porn land, right? Like in the VR world.
Oh my
And so-
god. That's gonna be the next thing on fucking OnlyFans.
Let's make some money, guys. Let's get into this.
Let's make even more money. And
You'll forget about DAO or DAO. Like, we're gonna be fucking billionaires.
yeah.
Dixie.io.
I'll give you the links to put for the Splinterlands and all that stuff too. And Game State too. That's another one people need to see. Put that in the comments. That apparently comments is disabled on the YouTube one at the moment. So
Somebody just commented again. He says,
God, how
"You
is
guys check out Decentraland yet?" Question mark. Do you know what Decentraland is?
he was talking about that earlier.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What was the question?
My buddy, he sent out a comment. He says, "Have we checked out Decentraland yet?"
Yes, I love Decentraland. That's like the one I fuck with the most because I think that's like the most promising because it's so decentralized. But there's so many different metaverses out there nowadays that it's like you don't know which one's going to be the next big one. Right now, like the two bigger ones are Decentraland and Sandbox. But yeah, like if you go in Decentraland, you get like explore. It's very much so developed, man. Like there's like big companies in there, like who bought out big stakes in there. You could see Tesla like has property. Sotheby's has property. There's another one I just saw.
So the first big porn company to make this happen is going to make a lot of money. Let's say like Brazers gets in there, and what are you guys doing? They need to be doing that now. Brazers is one of the porn companies.
I don't know about that stuff. So
How about a strip club? How about we just like offer like a Decentraland strip club?
dude, you can do that shit.
Let's tokenize butt plugs. Like we can.
Yes. Dude, you can do all that shit. You can fractionalize a butt plug. So you can have 100 owners of one butt plug. You can make a multi-sig wallet so that the butt plug only vibrates if all 100 people actually confirm the transaction. Or if only if a majority of people confirm the transaction.
You're blowing my mind.
I know.
This is
Crazy.
amazing.
Crazy. The future is now. You know?
Yeah, it's very trippy. It's none of this was here like a couple of years ago. That's the funny part.
Or at least people didn't. It wasn't the technology wasn't as well developed a couple of years ago. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
So one thing I think is cool because, like Elemental showed me, I thought you needed a VR headset to like access the metaverse, but you can just do this on a computer.
No, you could just use your mouse and arrows if you don't have a VR set. That's what I do.
Yeah, and I think there's only one metaverse right now that you can incorporate a headset with. I think it's like Starlink, I think, is the only one that you can actually use the headset with right now, but they all plan on adding VR capabilities sooner rather than later.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, Game State, dude. Gotta look at Game State.
Cosmic Radio says Jack Murphy will be there. I don't know if you guys have heard about the Jack Murphy stuff.
Who's Jack Murphy?
I didn't know who he was, and he is like he's like a, what do you call those people? Like a men's right activist guy. He was like really big in the manosphere, and he just got caught. By his fans. He was going on what's that like chatterbait kind of thing? You know what I mean? And like he was doing gay stuff and putting things in his butt, and so that didn't go over very well in the manosphere because they're all like macho guys. So.
God bless. Hey, whatever floats his boat.
That's what I said. I said he just needs to own it, man. If you're gonna be a freak, you just gotta let that shit fly. You're gonna be like, I'm so manly, I can shove this giant dragon dildo up my ass. You know what I mean? Like you gotta fucking embrace it, dude.
True.
You gotta own it.
One thing I did just think of that I want to mention is as far as the developers, there is one service that's available on through Hive Engine. I think you can actually get the Splinterlands team to build you like an NFT card game. Like, and they make, I mean, it, like I said, they have the biggest most popular blockchain game in the world. So there's a service for that. It's like between like $4,000 and $8,000 or something like that. I can't remember. I'm trying to find the link for it. I'll give you that one too. Anyway,
that's sick. If any of my listeners are gonna spend $4,000 to $8,000 on a fucking, that's awesome.
He can also build. They can also build Hive outposts. That's what I'm doing right now with the Conscious Artist Collective I've been organizing for the past few years. Finally got funding for that to go through next month. I think I'm almost finished with the white paper. I've been writing that. That's a whole nother thing.
So, yeah, what is that? Can you talk about that a little bit?
I'll touch on it a little bit. I don't want to put the name out there. I have a whole logo, everything. I even started giving out stickers and lapel pins, but it's the most popular concept I've ever thought of. But the whole idea and premise of it is came about when I know a lot of really, really talented folks, and most of them are like musicians and hip hop artists and shit. You know, everything from and regular drawing artists too. Just like it goes on and on and on. And when you, especially with the music side of things, try to find one of us, and and then you're like, I really like that music. How can I find other music like that? You have to sift through this sea of static that exists of all this other shit out there. And it's like impossible to find all of us. So the solution I came up with is for us to create a collective promotional space where we all have like our own, like invite only. We'll develop the main council and stuff of artists and like fill out our profiles there, have it linked to all our individual websites and our profiles and stuff. But we all advertise the same site, right? And that's going to make it so everyone can find all our stuff at once. And the front page will always update when people put out a new thing or whatever. And as they're doing that, and it publishes to Hive or the outpost of Hive, that's going to give the collective token that I'm going to create too. As I tokenize that, I give the artist airdrops for everyone in the main council. We launch it. And then we just, starts distributing the token with all the post updates about people's music, what they're doing in the studio, what they're doing at their shows or whatever they're doing. I'm about to put a new album out. All that stuff gets monetized every time they talk about it and publish that stuff as well. And it gets double monetized, hopefully, if we can figure out the high voting issue. But I mean, anyway, that's basically where it's coming from. But then on the outside too, if you're not a member of the collective and you find this site and you're also an artist, it's an access point for everyone outside the collective for any type of production or promotion they could imagine. Like, because there's not just going to be, musicians and MCs and drawing artists. There's going to be producers, music producers, music video producers, you know what I'm saying? And other developers, all the developers we know are going on there. So it's, and there's going to be like different options for style and price point matching too. So you can like actually find what you need and can afford.
That's sick.
Yeah.
That's fucking dope, man.
So we're working on it. Hopefully it'll be out in the next several months.
I fucking dig it, man. What are some new things you're working on, Sal?
Oh man. Well, actually we're actually building a DAO right now. Listen to this. So it's actually sort of fits into our conversation about NFTs and tokens and shit. The idea is we're going to create a DAO, and we've done a lot of research. I've talked to my buddy, he's a professor of law at NYU, and he and his colleagues think that like this year is like they expect to see a lot of regulatory action against DAOs. Mm-hmm. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually take the DAO and we're going to turn it against the government. We're going to actually use it against politicians. And the way we're going to do that is by creating this DAO with the initial purpose of providing bail relief to agorists, to counter economists. Yeah. So hopefully this will encourage people to engage in black and gray market entrepreneurship. It'll sort of lower the barriers to entry, lower the risk associated with agorism, and it'll encourage more people to get involved.
That might save my ass someday.
And when we have somebody, no, for real, because when we have somebody who like, the next Ross Ulbricht or something.
Right. I
Like,
was just thinking about him as you were talking
like,
about that.
He was like, like maybe like like this is a good idea. It's super disruptive, but I don't want to get in trouble. Well, hey, Agora DAO will back me up if I do this. So that's sort of the idea. And like the second point behind it all is that I'm hoping that eventually it sort of like merges into a collective of Agorist revolutionaries, and we can sort of use it as a sort of like almost like an insurance mechanism for and by other agorists. So that's one project I'm working on now. I just started my next book, which is going to be like about how like of the history of like the government and the state and how we got to the point where we're at right now. I've got so much shit going on. I'm speaking at Anarchapulco in a month, so I'm busy.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I'm trying to put together like a speech for that. So I've got a million shit. I've got too many things going on, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Well,
fucking hey, man, that's awesome. When your book comes out, definitely come back on. We'll do a book giveaway again.
Well, yeah. So like, it's interesting because, I was thinking about it. Last time I was on, we were talking about anti-politics, which is about like nonviolent counter-economic entrepreneurship and how we can use that to sort of create more freedom. And here we are now talking about NFTs, which is doing exactly that. So it's like sort of fitting. Like we talked about like the meta idea before, and now we're starting to get into like how to and like different tools people can use to do that. And NFTs are one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could sell NFTs to fund your bailout.
Well, that would be the whole thing. We would be selling like DAO tokens. But like, also NFTs, like we've spoken about a couple disruptive applications people can use them for. But like also one thing that they've done is like they've created a whole generation of wealthy crypto heads, right? All these people who were into crypto early because they were anarchists, libertarians, crypto anarchists, whatever, cypherpunks. They're the ones who made money because they understood this shit before the average person did. So it's definitely, at the very least, it's helped to transfer money from the normies, from the Keynesians to the people who actually understand this shit. So it's already helped to create a more free society. And the metaverse is another example of how that's going to expand even more. And all the different applications we talked about now, from like giving artists more royalties and more control over their art, like musicians and stuff like that, to like the raffles and the pools. Another sort of idea we've kicked around here that we actually rejected at a risk because it's just too illegal even for me is like going back to that whole concept of like a football pool. You guys know what I'm talking about. I think your listeners know what I'm talking about. Imagine instead of a football pool with 100 different possible outcomes, you had a pool with 100 elderly politicians.
A death pool? Are we doing a death pool? Fuck
a
yes.
death pool for
I'm
politicians. And if you own the NFT for Queen Elizabeth and that bitch croaks, you get paid out via a smart contract. But my lawyer friends tell me that because I'm a Florida resident, raffles don't go over big in the South. So I would be looking at like heavy time and shit. So if you're not in Florida, if you're in a place where raffles are more legal, more friendly, that's a great way to use NFTs to sort of mock the state, make a buck, and have a good time while you do it.
Dude, I put my money on Jay Bizzle for sure, dude.
Me too. Me too. That token would be worth a shit ton of money. See, like that, like the Joe Biden NFT would probably resell for like all kinds of money because everybody thinks this fucking guy's gonna die.
Dead coin. Yeah, Joe Biden's dead. Dude, we got to get celebrities in here too. I mean, if you had Betty White, then
yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah,
this is fucking amazing. Dude.
I was gonna say too, like paying attention to celebrities promoting a coin or an NFT series or something like that. Like that can be a big thing, or even more so, a platform. Really is what we're waiting for. Watch and see what the celebrities say and do, and move quickly.
Right.
That's unfortunately.
That's a really good point. So like one of the things I get a lot is, well, how do I invest in NFTs? Like, what should I do? And the easiest way you can do it is just to buy the native token, right? So like, again, for better or worse, most shit is tokenized on Ethereum right now. I don't think it's a good idea, but if you wanted exposure to the tokenization, to this Tocambrian explosion, which is what I call it, you could just buy Ethereum. And as more people tokenize more things, the price of Ethereum should go up. So like pick the platform you think is best for tokenization, most ripe for tokenization. Buy that native token and watch it go up. And boom, that's easiest way to get exposure to it.
Sick. I like it, man. I see, again, I'm a boomer with this shit and I'm married, so I don't look into this shit. But somebody was telling me there's like an OnlyFans kind of thing, but that's they have a Bitcoin kind of thing. They call them cummies. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Dude, I've heard of them. I've heard of this.
And I think it's worth starting. So like you can tip inside the website while a girl's doing nasty things, and you can be like, she's like, well, that's going to cost you 10 cummies if you want me to do this.
Oh my
And
Dude, for real. And like actually, cummies spiked like 6 months ago.
Yeah,
Of course
yeah.
it did. Of course it did. How appropriate.
dude, you're gonna have some more like crypto anarchy kind of girls on there too. It's kind of sweet.
Oh yeah, where are they at?
Like it's funny, but it's funny because the US dollar is such a fucking joke that
Yeah.
fucking cum token could actually fucking rival it. Like that is what it is like the bankers have actually made a complete mockery out of fiat currency to the point where like meme coins and fucking cum token
And
is,
we're
like,
reaping all the
competing with it.
benefits.
Yeah, dude, the crypto anarchists, the agorists, the cypherpunks, the people who understood this shit from the get-go. It's just it's easy money, bro. It's like they're just giving away fucking money, and I'm all about it.
Hell yeah.
Free
Well,
money.
I just
Free
need to
money
keep-
is how it should be anyway, right? Free money. Think about that. Just saying.
Yeah,
Man. I mean, if the Federal Reserve is going to create this toxic environment that's just ripe for alternative currencies, I fucking read Rothbard. I read that shit. I know what he said. I'm investing in alternative, non-inflationary assets because I understand Austrian economics, and it's been the best decision I've ever made for myself. It's really like one of the questions I got yesterday in that tutorial was like, there's a woman who was like, I'm living paycheck to paycheck and I want to get involved in crypto. What can I do? And my thing was like, become your own bank as soon as fucking possible. Get yourself out of the fiat banking system. That's the number one thing you could do, because if you have like $100 in some crypto and you wait long enough, or if you don't even have to wait that long anymore, soon it'll be 200 and you've doubled your purchasing power. So it's like, it's not really hard. Let the Federal Reserve do the work for you, right? If you understand the economic case, just let them screw things up for you.
So I 100% agree with you, man, because I remember, like, I don't know, this was probably a year ago, 2 years ago, somebody gave me like $80 of Ethereum, and like within like, I don't know, it was like 4 months, it was like $400. It just had shot up. It was like, and that's great. But how do normies like that lady that's living paycheck to paycheck? How does she spend it on a daily basis? Like how does she make that money? Because that was like me. I was watching it go up and down, and it was kind of like a video game for me. I was like, oh, I have $600. I don't know how to spend.
Right. Well,
you know what I mean?
Well, so there's every day there's an increasing amount of stores and websites and e-commerce sites that are accepting crypto. You can go to like I think it's like map.bitcoin.com or something like that, and it'll tell you like different cryptos where they're accepted and who accepts them and shit. But the easiest way, and if you have to KYC yourself pretty heavily, but like if you want to get one of those like debit cards, you get like a crypto.com card or like a BitPay card. I think Coinbase is going to drop a debit card. There should be a lot coming out pretty soon. But you can get one of those, and for all intents and purposes, it sort of normalizes the spending experience. But like I said, you have to like be KYC'd out your ass. You basically have to send these people like a blood and stool sample.
Yeah. We're getting some more comments here. This is from Sissel or Thistle. He says, anyways, he says, come to Jackalope this year. My DJ buddy's coming, Sector 763. Let's see here. Somebody said yes, Anarcho Poco. Then we have Umbrato says, land is non-fungible. Restricted areas can register owners via decentralized NFTs. Does that make sense to you guys?
Land is non-fungible. So, it's actually funny. Now that he says that, I'm starting to think otherwise, right? Because if land has a certain location in the metaverse, maybe it's not as maybe it's not as fungible as I thought it was. I don't know. I guess I'd have to think about it.
Hey, Thistle,
Maybe
drop when Jackalope is this year, when and where.
Monkman says Epic Cash is awesome, and I love Epic Cash. I don't know what Epic Cash is, but
it's a crypto a lot of people have tried to get me to get into. I really am not too familiar with it, but like a lot of people have like tried to introduce me to it. There's just so many cryptos out there. It's just hard for me to like keep up with all of them at this point. I can only learn about so many cryptos,
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm going to go buy some Epic Cash after this. Thank you, Monkman. Well, gentlemen, I feel a little bit smarter than I did.
I feel a little stupider.
I think I actually have more questions than we started, but gentlemen, thank you for your time. Do you guys want to throw out anything else? Elemental, I wanted to talk to you again a little bit about your album. It's really fucking cool. I bought one yesterday. Was it yesterday? It looks like a cassette tape.
Do you not have it right there?
It's in the other room.
Oh, okay.
And you bust it out, and it has a fucking USB. It has both your albums, and it has your NFT on it.
And
it's
a 4K,
and
it also comes with a 4K music video as well. That's still not released, actually. That's
what is
going to
it
be
called?
another. Power of Truth is the name of the album. But
So-
I like it.
I'm going to buy 3 from you the next time I see you, and we're going to give those out to 3 lucky listeners. I'll tell you guys later how you can get your album from Elemental.
So real quick history tidbit on why, because originally I was releasing the album on my solo return on the 17th of December, and everything seemed to be going fine, but then I got hit with a copyright thing on a 1-second sound sample I had on one of my tracks, and I looked at it and I was like, wait, because I thought it was going to be one track that ended up clearing, and then it was the one with the Martin Luther King I Have a Dream sound sample, and it was literally just 1 second of when he says I have a dream at the beginning. The song's called Shift the Focus. It's kind of centered around environmentalism and extending that message of not just equal rights for all people, but also to the earth having its own rights as a living entity. And anyway, so I try to put it out and I get hit with that. So that's why the official release hasn't come out to all the major streaming platforms yet. But I've been in contact with the King Center, which is the intellectual property firm that oversees the estate of Martin Luther King Jr.'s family. And they seem to receptive to letting me use it. But here's the cool history part. So the reason that that's not in the public domain, because usually something that old or that especially that historically significant, as like probably one of the most impactful speeches in human history, it's usually in the public domain. But in this case, what happened was he gave that speech, and like a month or so later or something like that, somebody that he knew came to him and told him that somebody was selling copies of it. I don't know if it was like a video or if it was audio of it, but they took these guys to court, and he won. And in doing so, he actually obtained ownership of his own speech. So the speech doesn't actually go into the public domain until like 2036 or something like that. Anyway, so that's what I ended up going through. But it was a cool story, though, that I had to go through that process and learn all that stuff about one of my honestly childhood heroes and greatest inspirations when I was growing up. That guy like talked in verse. The way he talked was like so unparalleled. You know what I mean? He'd really grab you. He was such an orator, but he's very loquacious. Anyway, but yeah, it's been cool to like talk to and have interaction with the groups that deal with that. And it seems like it's all going well. I'm just waiting to hear back final word from him, actually. So hopefully I'll hear by early next week, and I'll be able to push this thing forward and actually have the unmolested song with the intended sample at the beginning on all the platforms, and not just a free version of it.
So what's the best way that people can find you and find your music?
Well, I mean, my Bandcamp is where you're going to want to find me. Elemental. Let's see what it is, actually. Hold on, let me look it up. Elemental.bandcamp.com. That's ELA mental, not ELE. Spell it with an A.
I like it, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Sal, where can people find you again, and where should people buy your 3D printers?
SalVigoris.com is where most of my stuff is at. 3dprintergoburr.com. Agora Threads for apparel and clothing. And the book is Anti-Politics. Follow me on social media. Twitter, Snap, Insta, Facebook, everything. So
Fucking A, man. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
thank you.
Oh, one more thing. My first album on Bandcamp is completely free for download, by the way. So you don't have to pay anything for it and go get it immediately.
Very
Sweet.
Yeah.
Everybody go check that shit out.